Yo, what's good, my people? This is Brown96, and you've just tuned in to another dope episode of the Hip Hop Spot Podcast, where we interview the dopest in the entertainment field, and we bring that motivation, that inspiration, the type of talk that makes you become successful and helps you to learn the system, to come up and to do your thing, no matter what you're doing. So today we're going to be interviewing the homie. Man, he gets down. He has a platform, he has a podcast as well. He goes by the Radical Latino. So right now we're going to get him on. We're going to get into his mind, into how he got into the podcast game, and how he's doing this thing. So to everyone that's joining in, gracias for tuning in. We're about to get this started. What's up, homie? He's in the line. About to do this. And so welcome again, because I've been in the hiatus with the Hip Hop Spot podcast, but bringing it back. Trying to bring that back and trying to do my thing, because I'm in the inspiration mode, and I've been trying to, talk to people on some inspiration shit and on the language of success. So, with enough talk right there, we're about to bring him into the live and about to get this started. All right. So let's see here. All right, let's wait for him to join in, and let's get this going. Get this going. What's up, homie? How you doing, man?
Oh, what's up? What's going on? What up?
Yeah, man. How you been, man?
I've been alright. I'm just chilling. Sorry I came a little late. My fault. You know
All
what I mean?
good, man. All good, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just trying to get this started, but you know what I mean? Just to begin with, bro. To begin with, like a lot of people follow you. You have a big fan base when it comes to your platform, bro. And let's start from the get go, bro. The man yourself, man. Who are you? Where are you based out of? You know what I mean? And how was your childhood, bro? How was your upbringing?
Yeah. Well, I go by the Radical Latino. Can you hear me good? Can you hear me? You can hear me good,
I
right?
I can hear you. Yep.
Alright.
Yep.
Um, I go by the name the Radical Latino. I'm based off New York, the Bronx, and
Mm,
the way I started my whole podcast and the way I started my whole thing was that I started seeing Latinos basically fall into this trap of, the Donald Trump type of thing. I'm seeing Latinos talking about build that wall. I started seeing Latinos but portrayed in the wrong light, being portrayed
mm,
in the wrong way. So I started seeing a lot of issues that other people started to see Latinos in, and certain Latinos were actually falling into this whole, alt-right type of mentality. So that's the reason why I said, you know what, it's time to voice my opinion, and not only that, but wake some of these people up, because to be honest, I started to hear some Latinos even classify themselves as white, and
mm,
talk bad about the Latin community, and talk bad about how certain Latinos are, and how certain Latinos should be viewing themselves and stuff like that, and started to really speak ill on the whole community as a whole. So that's why I said, nah, let me actually say something about it. So that's how I started my whole podcast.
all right, bro. All right. This actually start from the beginning though. Like, who are you,
Okay.
bro? Like, you know what I mean? I know what you represent. You know what I mean? But like,
Yeah.
who are you as an individual?
As an
And what was your
individual, got it.
upbringing like, bro? And what
Yeah.
was your upbringing like, bro?
Yeah. I grew up in the Bronx, born and raised. My upbringing, basically, I grew up in the church. My
Mm,
mom a Pentecostal. With the caballeros y the damas and all that. So I grew up in the church, and growing up in the church, you see things and hear things, but nothing about race was actually spoken about. Nothing about uh, race or anything about how society moves as a whole was actually spoken about. It's all about Dios and stuff like that. So I was
Mm.
raised in a Christian household. So when my mom came and said, "Yo, did you know that Jesus is black and it's in the Bible?" And I didn't believe it. I was like, "Get out of here! You bugging out," you know. And she actually showed it to me. Like there's a part of scripture, skin of bronze, woolly hair. That's when I was like, wait a minute, let me actually research this whole, Jesus thing and Christianity and stuff. And that's got me down the whole rabbit hole. But growing up, I pretty much had a normal childhood. Well, normal in a quote unquote sense. I had a pretty much normal childhood. I did experience some racial animosity and some racial experiences growing up in the Bronx due to
Mm.
the whole stop and frisk and all that other stuff. I did come across certain individuals that is police who did see and treat me and my friends a certain way when vice versa other white folks they didn't treat that way, you know what I'm saying? So that's
Mm.
pretty much the gist of it.
All right. How many brothers and sisters, bro?
I am the oldest of everybody, so
Oh, the oldest. All right.
yeah, I'm the oldest. I got a younger sister, she's 2 years younger than me. My little brother, couple of was it 4 or 5 years younger than me, and I got two other sisters that are way younger.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm the oldest of everybody.
So a lot of pressure, huh?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I gotta make sure I set a good example. You feel me? So
That's what's up, man.
yeah,
Now, when
yeah,
you
yeah.
went to school, bro, what was the majority of the population in school? Like, what race was it?
Well, you gotta understand something about New York. That we're divided by five boroughs, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the Bronx. The majority of the races in the Bronx is going to be black and Latinos. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about school, I'm talking about from kindergarten all the way to middle school. That was all black and Latinos. That's all it was. That's all I saw until I went to high school. High school. Shout out to environmental studies up in 59th Street. That's in Manhattan. That's when you started getting a dense population and started to see the mixture of it. In high school, the
Mm.
majority of white folks in high school, especially in my high school, were Albanian. So you had white Albanians.
Mm.
The second majority was Asians. So you had white Albanians and Asians. And the low majorities were Latinos and blacks. So that's it. So I pretty much basically stayed with the Latin and black folks around there, and that's all I stayed in at. So that's what the racial majority was in high school.
For some reason, bro, as a minority, I noticed that whether we want to or not, race
Yeah,
comes into play a lot, bro. Like whether we just don't
it
even
does.
think about it. It's just race is always like something about it, bro. I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, did it come as a shocker when you started like being exposed to white people more?
It does because the white folks that first of all I never really had white friends whatsoever. If I did, it's like a high and by type of thing or whatever the
Mm.
case was, right? So white folks, for some reason, I will always try to be buddy buddy with them, try to see like if we could like have a certain like click, but it never really worked out. I don't know why. It was something that I felt like something was like missing. You feel me? So whenever I did go into these white circles, race always came up. Always came up. Like even if you want to even if you want to put it as a afterthought or not, it always came up for some strange reason. I have no idea why, but it always came up. So because that always came up, I always felt that like, why is race coming up with white people more than anybody else? Whenever I would hang out with Latinos or black folks, race didn't really come up like that. You know what I mean? It came up with something
Mm.
else, like about a social type of thing, but race never really came up into the bigger dynamic until I started, like, actually going into these white circles, and the majority of white folks always, for some reason, I always find that funny. And the thing is, now understanding it, the reason why they do so is because they know it's something that they have to call out first. It's something that they have to put into the social consciousness of things,
Mm.
in order for them to feel comfortable, like, okay, I said what I needed to say because I have to call out the elephant in the room. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically why I see them do what they do.
Mm. That's a trip, bro. See, I noticed that myself. Like, well,
Yeah,
not so much in elementary school, but more so like in high school and stuff like that. Where,
yeah,
because in elementary school, I went with predominantly just all Latinos. Some
yeah,
like a sprinkle here of like maybe literally like a couple white kids in that school, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they were
yeah, yeah,
more like what you would label like white trash type of you know what I mean,
yeah,
type of kids, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But in high school I went to a predominantly white school, I don't know how in the world my folks got me into that school, but it was a big shocker for me, bro. Oh, something happened to your screen, bro.
No, I did it. Hold up, give me 1 minute. I'm
Oh, you
just
did.
like
Oh,
moving.
my bad.
I'm
Yeah.
just moving
Nah.
my
So
because I know the lamp, that's the light was all the way in the there we go, okay,
okay. Yeah, man. So like
yeah,
to me, it came as a big shocker, bro. When I started going to high school, it was like predominantly all white, bro. Like for the majority of it, it was like pretty much white. So like I had a big problem adjusting to that school because it's just you start to realize how much you don't have
yeah,
as a Latino, the lack
yeah,
of resources that you really, it shows more when when you compare it to like classmates, like certain things that's like, how come you don't have this? Like just certain like
yeah,
they will point it out to you, bro. Like they will make it obvious that you don't have
yeah,
it. Like certain things like
yeah,
a calculator or something, bro. Like
yeah,
they fucking make me like feel like shit, bro. Like hey,
yeah,
what's your
yeah, yeah.
calculator? You know what? You can't afford one. Like that
Yeah,
type of shit, bro. And
the
like
smallest thing. Yeah, the smallest thing. That's the smallest thing. We have to understand that these white folks, they are in a certain position socially. They
mm,
are in a certain position. They are in a certain um privileged bracket socially
mm,
outside of us. So yeah, they're gonna have more things. Yeah, they're gonna have more entitlement to say, hey, how come you don't got what I got? You know what I mean? So it happens. It happens. But we have to be clear. We have to understand that this thing that I call, and many other people call white supremacy. This is something we have to understand, that this is a system made for them. Because if you actually see any curricular activity, anything that has to do with physicality, who dominate? Not white
mm,
folks. You know what I'm saying? So you have to put these social, red tape and social barriers and things there, so white folks could get on top and make it harder for you. And the fact that certain people who are black and Latin actually, but outside of these barriers, get through and become successful is a great testament to the people, the type of people that we are. You know?
hmm Do you think that perhaps it came from envy, like being envious of like us minority, of like historically that we were able to do certain things that they were not able to, and
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
they pretty much switched it up
yeah,
and
yeah.
made it so that we are the
Yeah,
yeah
you gotta understand something. Everything that whites. I'm not saying all white people are racist. I'm
yeah
not
yeah yeah.
saying that. There are white folks, and then there are white supremacists. We got to make that very clear. Unfortunately, white supremacists are the largest people out here making rules that control our everyday life and existence. So, because of that, we got to understand that because of the social systematic pressures that are in these societies. Yeah, they do it because of envy. Yeah, first of all, let's look at California. California is part of Mexico, right? Always been part of Mexico. But what are these people telling Mexicans? Yeah, illegals, right? Even though the majority of the Mexicans that's in California were born there and y'all citizens, what do they say? Y'all are illegals. Y'all are dirty. Y'all are aliens. Y'all this and that and all this other stuff. So when it comes to certain things like that, they have to basically put it in your mind that you don't belong here, even though that was your original land in the first place. Y'all don't belong here. Y'all this, y'all that, y'all this, y'all that. So why do they have to constantly remind you? It's because they're not really lying to you. They're lying to themselves. They have to believe that type of stuff. You know what I mean? And when it came even back in the day, back in the day when they used to actually get Mexican people and put them in back of trucks and drive them across the border and use them as target practice, you got to understand why they had to do that. You have to understand the mind of these type of people. Why they had to do that is because they know the power. They know the physicality of the people that we are. We're connected to everything. We're connected to nature. We're connected to literally everything. There's been stories and historical outcomes that show that Latin people, we are the most religious, and we know little secrets of roots and stuff that actually heal the body. These people don't know none of that. You feel what I'm saying? These people don't know none of that. Even you will see historical references of white folks who came to Jamestown. They started eating each other, and so the Native Americans actually had to show them how to like farm. Come on, like this ain't science. This is something that we gotta understand. Like, there's a reason why these people keep on reminding us we ain't anything. You feel me?
So now, bro, like with all this knowledge that you gained, bro, like
Mm-hmm.
what pushes you to whatever, like when you started like learning all this? I know school had a small percentage of you gaining this knowledge, bro. Like all this,
Yeah.
it seems like you got it separate from the school. What
Oh
pushed
yeah.
you to want to learn this stuff, bro? Like what pushed you to do that?
Well, when my mom, like I told you, when my mom told me the whole, yo, you know, Jesus is black, and I I didn't even believe it. I had to do my own research and found out, you know, that the Bible. And if anybody is Christian up in here, anybody that believes in God, trust me, I'm not trying to go against your beliefs. This is just something that happened, so you know what I mean. Don't take it up on me. But God itself, the religion of God was used to control the people, and the Bible was rewritten in certain ways where when you read it, it was supposed to be the divine God who said that it's okay to be submissive to your master and all this other stuff. So once I started seeing that, and I started to see that, okay, the way, especially Latinos, we have to keep it real. When we go to church and we're super religious and we see white Jesus everywhere, subconsciously that does something to us. Subconsciously, we start seeing white folks as a deity, as a god, basically. I've been to
Mm-hmm.
many, I've been to many Latin households where when the boy or the girl dates a white person, they can't do nothing wrong. It's like winning the lottery. It's true. It's like winning the lottery. To the family, oh, tú te casaste con un blanquito. Oh my God. Thank God. You know what I mean? This is something that we got to be real about. Like after that, that person can't do nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be real and get away from that whitewashness. We have to get away from that type of mentality. So the more I started researching, the more I started seeing, the more I started learning. You know, learning how black people were getting hanged right alongside Latin people up in Texas. You know, they even had designated trees for that. You know, so I started to see that, and I started to see that, okay, our fight between black and Latin people are not so different. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen certain people think that racism just affects black people. Why black people always complaining about racism? Why black people always just talking about how many benefits do you guys want? And the thing is that we have to understand that Latin people, we're not that far away from it. We're
Mm.
literally not that far. We're like one bracket above it, and we do get affected the same way. Look what Donald Trump was saying when he was becoming president. He was attacking everybody. We were not better
Mm-hmm.
off. He was attacking everybody. He called Latin people rapists. He said that we were criminals and we were running drugs up in here and all that other stuff. Build that wall, but when in reality you look at the numbers, you see that Asian people are the most illegal and legal immigrants that come into this country. Latin people are not. You know what I'm saying? So that was automatically that was basically proof for me that we're all getting targeted, you know, and we're over here bickering about who's who and what's what, and this person did something to me in sixth grade. That's why I hate black folks. Stop all that. Stop all that. So I saw a bigger thing, and I started to research and actually learn, outside of school, actually learn the certain systematic things that are connected to everything, and I started to say, "Oh, it's a bigger game. It's a bigger game than this." You know?
For sure, bro. Now let me trip you out on this, man. Since you mentioned that like you were seeing with like family members that were like marrying, lighter skin or even white people, uh with people that I've met, like from like ranchos and stuff like that, from Mexico, it's a big thing to they encourage to marry from someone from the town, right, from their town in Mexico, right, from their
Yeah.
village. Uh, but now a lot of cultures still have this, even with the culture within my family, like they push the agenda of marry even if it's a cousin.
Mm.
So it's not spoken of. It's not spoken of. It's very touchy, but it's there. I've had conversations with my folks that that because some family members in my family and friends of the family and stuff, they take pride that they married from someone from the town, and they just so happen to be cousins, even second cousins or whatever, but the cousins nonetheless, and it's like they don't see nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
when brought up, they don't want to talk about it because they
Oh yeah,
know in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
America they look down upon that.
Yeah, yeah.
But for
They're
some
like
reason,
that.
traditionally, they think it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they're like cállate callado, esa cosa de la familia. Shh, shh, shh. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So
But I'm saying though, yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like that's what there's a lot of I don't know what you want to say, like backward thinking, but in America, it's like it's praised to marry someone that's well off financially, right? It's
yeah.
it's praised and it's encouraged, right? But over there, it's encouraged to marry someone humble.
Mm.
It don't matter, the skin color. It don't matter if it's darker or lighter person or whatever that I've noticed, you know what I mean? Like in traditional ways of doing things, you know what I mean? They do it more like if that person is honorable, if that
Mm.
person works hard, that those are
Yeah.
the characteristics that are looked upon to marry, and if
Yeah.
and if that person doesn't have that, then it's like nah, 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 don't marry that person. You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just a trip to think about it that way. It's just a trip to think about it that way. That in America, you're more valued of the money of the financial gains that you can bring to the
Yeah.
relationship. But
Yeah.
then again, you
Yeah.
struggle you struggle through your marriage if you don't have the characteristics that takes to maintain the marriage, which is
Yeah.
more like traditional values. So it's
Yeah.
like it's kind of you can't have both, I guess.
Now, I get it. You got to understand that in our countries, in our parents' countries, the life is seen different.
Hmm.
Life is tackled different. You work and then you basically live off the land, or you're chilling. You know what I'm saying? It's not that demanding. Here, you're kind of living to work. You know what I mean? So here, you're working 12
Mhm.
hours. Sometimes people work 14 hours just so you could pay your rent, light, and have some internet. You know, so I know I know here. That's the reason why the majority of people come here because of the economic gain from it. And it doesn't baffle me why certain people will have a different type of mentality there than versus here. The American mindset, it's a capitalistic dog eat dog type of mindset. That's something that we have to be real about.
Mhm.
It's like kill or be killed. You feel me? So like
Yep.
I understand why it would be like that, but you tackle something really important where people back home we look at relationships different. You know, we look at relationships different. For example, women back home, they look not only if the man could provide, but could protect, if
Hmm.
they have good values. Yo, is this guy gonna beat me every minute? You know what I'm saying? If they're not all of that, if they're not all of that, and they actually come with good values, provide, hard worker, isn't playing any games, but want to make sure they got a 5, 10, 15 year plan to progress. Women
Mm.
are gonna get attracted to that. Here, women get attracted to how much money you make. You gotta make 6 figures. What else? That's it. You feel me? So
Mm.
the mentality is different, and the mentality for men. I'm not gonna put this on the ladies. The mentality of men is different too. Over there, the mentality of men in our countries. Let's keep it real. The mentality for men is are you a nurturer? You feel me?
Mm.
You shouldn't have any. You shouldn't have more than 2 or 3 bodies on you. You know, are you actually do you cook? Do you actually have the fundamentals to be a woman? Here is basically like how much Instagram followers you got. Do you got the angles? You know what I mean? Is your booty fat? That's what they care about. That's what some of the men care about here. You feel me? So the mentality is different. The
Yeah.
mentality is very different, and I think, and I'm gonna say, is the American mindset of capitalism. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
on a limb and say that it corrupted the way men and women are seeing each other. You know, I don't know if you agree with me, but that's how I see it.
I mean, everyone. I mean, like you say, bro. Every head is a world, bro. And like, you're a
Yeah,
different world. I'm a different world. We're two separate sides of the nation. But there's a lot of things that what I mean. Just because we don't see eye to eye, bro, doesn't mean that we're wrong, bro. It just means that what I mean, that we see the world in a different perspective. Living life in different ways and stuff. But I get you, bro. It has to do a lot with capitalism and all the way that that media portrays the world from this side. I'm sure, I mean, like, especially living in a rancho, in a village, in a certain place like Mexico or any third world country, that I guess you could call it third world country, or any country that has, like, very, very poor people. uh they're gonna see life in a different perspective, bro. That's
yeah,
just a given, like over
yeah.
here there's a lot of
Nobody.
spoiled people.
Yeah, we gotta understand we got a lot of first world problems. Here, people are talking about how you identify as. Here,
Yeah.
people are talking about Latinx this, Latinx that. Here, people are talking
Mm.
about the Me Too movement and somebody raped me back 20 years ago. Over there, nobody cares about none of that. They just care about, is food on the table today? If not, we gotta go hustle to get it. That's what they care about.
Hmm.
They have a different type of way of living. They're more humble. They're more different. They view the world very different than the American mindset. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
again, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe the American capitalistic mindset is a very toxic way to view the world.
Yeah, it is, bro. I mean, it just kind of off of that, bro. Like, cause my wife is half Puerto Rican, right? Her pops is from Ponce. Her mom is a Chicana from LA, and
Mm-hmm.
we actually went to Puerto Rico some years back, and it doesn't, even though it is a part of America, it's like that kind of like, picture it like this. It's kind of like America's third cousin that comes around, and America sees him like, nah, he's back over here. Just fucking hide, pretend that we're not here.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
America treats Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
bro, on some real shit,
Yeah.
bro. Because
Yeah.
Puerto Rico has a lot of, I mean, the people are fucking nice. Like when we out there, I mean, I guess I stand out. They're all like, "Hey, Mexicano, eres Mexicano?" I'm all like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
sí, sí soy." So it's like, but they're good people, man. Like there was like, you just, man, it's just nothing but, I mean, helpful people that, and this fucking the food, bro. The food, I fell in love, bro. And but there's a lot of poverty, bro. That's what I seen.
Oh
A lot of
yeah,
poverty.
we gotta understand. There's certain Latin communities, there's certain Latin people who fight and talk against the systematic oppressions. When I went
Mm.
to Puerto Rico, I saw a bunch of spray painting signs talking about "Go home, gringo." You know what I mean? And they weren't talking about me. They weren't talking
Mm-hmm.
about Latin Americans. They were talking about them white folks.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something we gotta understand that this thing is global. This whole thing
Mm-hmm.
isn't just designated in one area to one group of people. No, this is global. We have to understand that the same systematic oppressions that happen to a certain group of people happen to everybody that looks like them certain group of people or is treated like
Mm-hmm.
the certain groups of people. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got to understand. And I think the message is being felt a little bit more.
Mm. No doubt, man. Now, as for going into the podcast thing, bro, like
Yeah,
when you were a youngster, high school and stuff like that, what inspired you? Like, what pushed you forward? And I mean, I've always been into like, ever since I found out what a Chicano is, ever since I found out kind of my identity, in
yeah,
society, I I got it into my head that if individually, if we push ahead with a good message and we try to
hmm
do good for our people,
yeah,
eventually others will follow with that same message. That's what I
yeah,
had in my mind, especially seeing, there's been films about like the cultura and just the Latino experience, bro, that inspired me a lot to talk openly about issues and stuff. So I've always been that not always, but like, maybe like since middle school. That's when I
yeah.
kind of had my eyes open into like looking into what a brown beret was and what this was, what that was. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So I started learning more about it. So what pushed
yeah,
you, bro? What pushed you to want to talk Latino? I mean, you could be
yeah,
talking about all kinds of other, bullshit that other people talk in the world about some, you know what I mean? Some
yeah, yeah,
nonsense, but
yeah,
you're pushing for your people. So I mean, what pushed you to
yeah.
do that?
It didn't start in high school, to be honest with you. Outside after high school, that's when I started to get some of the knowledge that I was getting by myself. I will attribute this to two mentors that I got. Um, I'm not gonna say their names, but one is Puerto Rican and the other one is a Black American. Those are the ones that taught me like, hey, maybe you should look at things this way. Here's some books where you could read it and stuff like that. And the more I started to get knowledge of self, the more I started to actually understand certain ways how the world moves, how the world maneuvers, how I how people see me. First of all, I didn't start with an identity. I was calling myself a Latino for a long time, not knowing that Latino was not a race, even though I
Mm,
could differentiate who a Latino is from a white person, from a black person, from an Asian person. We're not considered a race. And I
mm,
felt I felt like that was a little off, a little bit. The fact that we're not considered a race, we're considered an ethnicity, that felt a little, it didn't click to me. But when I started to see that, and then I started to actually find out more historical factors about our people and myself. For example, how there's pyramids all over through Africa, and there's also pyramids all over South America. That right there is not a coincidence to me. When I started to see
Mm.
those type of things, I was like, wait a minute. How certain African tribes used to worship the sun, and also vice versa, how the Mayans, Aztec, Incas, all of those people also used to worship the sun, how they used to have hieroglyphics of certain days and times that they will map out years in advance. That right there told me, wait a minute, this right here is not a coincidence. Something is bigger than this. So when I started to actually learn more about Latino history, about the atrocities that we actually went through, like you said, the Brown Berets, the Young Lords, the certain Latin people that were part of the Black Panther Party, and certain things that Latin people actually did. For example, how Latin people, it was the Mendez versus Westminster court case that
Mm.
helped California desegregate schools. So that was a Latina, that was a Latina, right, that did it. That actually Obama, his time of office, gave her a little a medal of honor. So a Latina started that to help California desegregate. Once that happened, 2 years later, that's when all schools nationwide federally were desegregated. So when I started to see and learn and see how things were going, that's when I started to see, it was like, wait a minute, our people got history. Our people actually did something. I wasn't taught this in school. You know what I was taught in school? I was taught that Abraham Lincoln, you know what I'm saying, did this. He got shot in the head. And George Washington never told a lie. You feel me? That's what I was told. But I was never told about my history. And when I asked for it, hey, what did Latinos do? You know what the response that I got was? Yeah, we didn't do anything. That's what my response. That was the response to me was. So knowing that and knowing the lies that I was told, and actually going out and finding out the history of our own people, it's breathtaking. So that's the reason why I started outside of Donald Trump, was an addition to educate our people about the historical facts that we actually went through, the historical accomplishes that we actually did. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I got into the whole podcasting thing, and I said, you know what, let me just start a podcast and actually, put these ideas out there. You know what I'm saying? It was either
Yeah.
that or go to the train with a bullhorn and say, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it was either
Yeah.
that or that. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit. I mean, you see like religious, groups of people in the corners preaching that word.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
what? That's what I always ask myself. What differentiates someone that's so passionate about something that they believe, and it happens to be religion, but why can't just people that believe something so strongly be in the corner rapping that shit? I'm not talking about
Yeah.
rapping like in song time. I'm just
No, of
talking to
course, of
people
course.
about it. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
letting them know, like, don't let them bring us down type of shit. Don't
yeah,
don't get discouraged because you don't have what the other side of town has. That type
yeah,
of talk, like, I mean, people are so quick to just go out every fucking weekend and drink out, fucking, and do all this shit that is just so repetitive. But to
yeah,
stand out and do something like that, a lot won't do that shit. And a podcast is
yeah,
just as close as that, bro. To have a
yeah,
voice and just put that shit out there, man. And
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
thing,
Because
bro. I feel like a lot of people just give up. They give
yeah,
up on just trying because maybe they don't see changes in their area, you know what I
yeah,
mean? But as a whole, I mean, as long as you keep moving that 1 foot forward, bro. I mean, 1 foot, bro. I mean, how do you get to a
yeah,
destination? A fucking,
yeah,
one pace at a time, right?
yeah. When I started my podcast, I started it in May 2018.
Mm.
Um, I I really didn't think it was not. It was. I felt like I was just gonna be a crazy person talking to myself for a whole hour. That's it. So I was like, all right, nobody's gonna listen to me. If I probably get listeners, probably like one or two, and I'm just gonna be talking to myself for a whole hour. Let's see how far this goes. I was only gonna do the podcast for 10 episodes. That's it, for 10 episodes. After episode number 10, mind you, I'm speaking to the speaker in my mic. I didn't even in my computer. I didn't even have a good mic at that time. So after 10 episodes, I'm looking at the comments, and obviously you're gonna get some negative comments, but it was all also positive ones talking about, yo, keep it going, bro. Yo, you doing your thing. I didn't even know about this. That's what's up. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, people really want to hear me? Really? Okay. So that's when I said, all right, let me just keep it going. So that's when I went from 10 to right now it's like 149 episodes. Because of that, I got put on the list of all Latin podcast lists. I'm number 17. And it wasn't because of me, it was because of the people. Shout out to y'all. Because of that, I became number 24 on an All Bronx Influencer Podcast YouTube list. Again, it wasn't because of me; it was because of y'all. Shout out to y'all. So I'm actually seeing my stock rising. I'm seeing myself being put on certain places where I didn't think I was ever going to be a part of, and my message is being reached out, and my message is being talked about, because now I'm seeing a lot of people talking about, hey, I think we should start thinking that Latin should be a race. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a lot of people talking about, let's have this Black and Latin unity actually happen. I'm seeing a lot of more talks like that happen, because, to be honest, Black and Latin unity wasn't really talked about like that, and also it wasn't that
Mm.
strong. So we gotta keep it real. So I'm seeing more and more of these talks actually happen. So I'm actually pretty proud of it.
That's what's up, man. So now, do you think as a podcaster, bro, like, do you think that Latino podcasters are talking about the right things? I mean, how do you see? Because I mean, there's a podcast for everyone, bro. Let's not forget that
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
just about talking about things that that I guess matter in the world. You know what I mean? Like politics and all these
yeah,
different issues in the world. Of with us in mind.
nah,
But I mean, do you think for the most part we as Latinos are conveying the message pretty good through podcasts, or
yeah.
should we more aggressively convey the message? What do you feel, bro?
Um, well, however the message gets conveyed is however the message gets conveyed. It depends on the person receiving the message. A lot of people are not going to receive it and resonate with that message at the beginning. It's going to take some time. There's certain people that get hooked, other people that won't. It really depends on the person, and also depends on the person speaking. If you sound like you're doing a teaching lecture and you're putting
Hmm.
people to sleep, nobody's gonna listen to you. You know what I mean? So you gotta be, very engaging. You gotta be out there. You gotta be doing the thing. Now, with the question that you asked, if Latinos a podcast or Latino podcasts actually doing it right, to be honest with you, I don't know. There's literally there's like 30,000 new podcasts being created every week. It depends on the certain small ones that actually go through. A lot of people start off podcasting and die off. So
Hmm.
by the small ones that I've heard about the Latino podcast that I've heard, I heard some good ones and I also heard some bad ones. So far, the message that is being brought out, I'm gonna keep it honest, it's too liberal. It's too liberal,
Hmm.
and they're talking too much about this Latin X stuff. Now there's a new term. There's a new term called Latin X. Remember, Latin X is only designated for a certain group of people, and I got nothing wrong with that certain group of people. You want to be called Latin X, that's cool, but the whole community should not be called Latin X. That's my issue with it.
Hmm.
So that's what I see, that some of these Latin people are getting on that type of thing. But overall, I'm seeing some of the message being spoken about and being pushed through a little bit more positively. So yeah, I see something good coming out of it.
Hmm. So where do you see the division, bro? Like, a lot of people don't want to be called even Latino.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people want to be called indigenous, but don't
yeah,
live the life of an indigenous person,
yeah.
but still
Um,
want to be called that. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, how do you,
Well,
of course, historically, that's what we are, indigenous, right?
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
to be indigenous is to live according to the lifestyle of our ancestors, which we don't not, we no
yeah,
longer live like that. So how can we be
yeah,
labeled as that now?
yeah.
What's your
Um,
take on that?
yeah. My take on it is this. Hispanic and Latino even were giving to us. We were never given that choice to even come
Mm,
up with that type of label. The only thing about Latino was certain Central Americans were a part of that discussion, but even though Latino is based on a European label that was already there
mm.
with the word Latin. So this is something that we have to understand. We should not be using Hispanic, nor Latino, nor Latinx, nor Latin whatever. Now, the fact that Latin people are not a race it opens the door for other people to insert their bullshit into it. Meaning, that's the reason why there's certain people going into the alt-right meetings who are Latin. There's certain people going into, the Hebrew Israelites who are Latin, and these two people have a culture, but they're being pulled by different ideologies of race. So the reason why is because Latin is not considered race. If we actually come to the table with a agenda that is politically an agenda that puts us all in one box that's classified with something that we came up with as a race, all of that other stuff will get eliminated. Now, with the whole indigenous thing, I do agree that the majority of us do have indigenous roots, and some of us are more indigenous than others. I do agree to that. And labeling themselves indigenous is just a way to fight back. And I see that.
Mm.
I see that. I get it, and I'm all for it. Go right ahead. But again, that that puts a hole again. That puts a hole into the fact that Latin is not a race. We actually have to come to the table and actually have to have a conversation about labeling us as a race. Now, the whole living as an indigenous person, to me, I could care less if you claim indigenous and you don't go, you don't start dancing around fire pits and all that. Don't sacrifice somebody because the full moon. That's all good. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't even know what an indigenous lifestyle would be. But here in America, I think that if you want to claim indigenous, that's cool. Go all power to you. But at least you got to understand that the reason why you're doing so is because of a certain factor that we're not a race. If we were a race and we're classified as a race, all that indigenous black white stuff goes out the way and actually
Mm.
will be labeled with something that we're labeled. You feel me? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah. I mean that's just I just see that as a division. You know what the part that divides us as a people.
Yeah,
That there's
of
a lot of
course.
factors. I mean that's just one of them. The language is another thing. You know what I mean the ones that speak only Spanish or for the most part Spanish, and if you speak English more, you're like, no, you're too much of these people in America. You've
Yeah,
already become too much of this culture. You're no longer ours anymore. You know what I mean? You belong to here now. So it's like, but then again, Spanish is not even the original language to our people anyway.
it's not.
But
It's not.
like I have a friend, right? I have a friend that he basically says that he knows English and Spanish, right? But he chooses to mostly Spanish because that's what makes him more Mexicano, more authentic. You know what I mean? But I'm like, do you know that's not even your original language? Like
Yeah,
how can that make you more original when that's not even the original language? You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I'm like, people take it so much to heart what makes them original. but then they live this American lifestyle that counteracts, you know what I mean, the whole purpose.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like it's a confusing state of mind, bro. It really is.
yeah. Again, I see it for what it is. It like I said before, just because you speak Spanish doesn't mean that you're being connected to whatever culture your parents are in
Hmm.
whatsoever. We are conquered people. This is something we have to
Hmm.
understand. Um, we speak Spanish because we are conquered people. The original
Hmm.
language, especially because I'm half Dominican Ecuadorian, right?
Hmm.
So the original language in Ecuador and all throughout the western part of South America was Quechua, right?
Okay.
My mom speaks Quechua fluently. She
Hmm.
speaks Quechua fluently. I know maybe one or two words, not even that, right? But that's the original language. If I really, which I should, which I should, but if I really wanted to sit down and actually learn the language, that would be some way to decolonize myself. You feel me? And all
Hmm.
that. But we got to understand, as Latin people, we are conquered, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. We understand that. We should understand that. It's not cool to just say, "Oh, by the way, I'm a conquered person." It's never cool to say that, and we understand that. But we have to come to the realization that Latin people, we're conquered. That's the reason why we speak Spanish. That's the reason why we practice Catholicism. That's the reason
Hmm.
why, exactly. That's the reason why we have certain traits and certain beliefs of you know of Spanish settlers. You know what I'm saying? So this is the reason why, and the fact that certain people go and say, "Well, I'm a mestizo" and all this other stuff. These are labels put
Hmm.
from the Spanish colony to us. So we have to understand that to break away from that is to actually understand our history and break away from those type of mindsets. You know?
No doubt, man. And like you said, man, it's a tough pill to swallow, man. And that's why a lot of people can't let go of that because they're so used to it. That's it's been so ingrained to them in their
Yeah,
heart and soul, and they just can't. That's their form of identity at this point.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So now let's go back to you as a podcaster. I mean, that's a whole skill in itself, bro, and that doesn't come from one fucking day to another. Like
no,
when you decided like, you know, I have a voice. First of all, before we even get to that,
yeah,
how long did it take you to find your voice? Because that by itself, bro, I mean, you can have ideas, you can be passionate about something, but like to actually voice it out, that's a
yeah,
different fucking animal
yeah.
right there, bro.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I found my voice through Facebook. So
Mm.
when I started the whole podcasting thing, before I started that, I went on Facebook, and with the knowledge that I have, mind you, I don't know everything, so I'm still learning. You feel me? So when I was on Facebook, I will get into debates. I will get into little debates with white supremacists, with things that I will
Mm.
put out, people that disagree with me, even my own family. I will get into small little debates. You know what I mean? The more I started getting to these debates, the more I started to structure my arguments a certain way. I would put my words a certain way, which would develop from Facebook to the way I speak, to the way I
Mm.
convey my message. Because from Facebook, I would be at the gym talking that same shit to some of my friends. You know what I mean? And we would have some respectful discourse. So when that started happening, and I decided to do the podcast, to be honest with you, I wasn't even going to do the podcast that I have now. I was going to do something completely different. It was going to be entertainment based. It was going to be with a friend of mine. And
Mm.
we only went through one episode. Only one episode that never came out. We only went through one episode. And that whole thing didn't even feel right. To be honest with you, it didn't feel right. It
Mm.
felt like it felt like I was carrying the whole thing by myself,
Ah,
and
okay.
I was like, hold on, something feels off, right? So, oh, shout out to Keith. What's going on? I see Keith in the building. What's going on, bro? So
That's good, man.
it felt off. So I was like, what can I do in a podcasting thing because I was passionate about it? What can I do and talk about that I'm passionate about? And the only thing that came to mind that I was really passionate about was, talking about Black and Latin unity and waking Latin people up. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. So that's when I
Mm.
started it. And when I started it, it didn't explode from the beginning, but I started getting some good buzz. And then from
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
it went off, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm getting some good feedback from this.
Okay. But in terms of
Yeah,
like now, in terms of like hooking it up and knowing where you're gonna upload it and things like that,
yeah.
how long did it take you to get all that together, all that pieced up?
Um, it took me a week. It took me a
Really?
week. Yeah, it took me a week. It took me a day or two just to find the right hosting website to upload my podcast. And by the way, if anybody doesn't know, if you don't have a website, you got to put your podcast in the hosting website where they could have that going. And the first two episodes, episode 1 and 2, I recorded that same day, and I uploaded it. Maybe a week, a week and no, two, a week and a half after everything was already set up, my YouTube channel and the podcast. So I already got approved for iTunes and for Google podcasting that same week. So I said, yo, let me just put it out there. Let me just test it out. So I put it out there, and my first episode got what, 3 downloads. The second one got 1 download. I'm like, all right, cool. Some people are listening to it. I don't know who, but whatever. But I didn't have a mic. I was just
Mm.
using the computer mic. You know what I mean? So everything that I learned, how to edit, how to sound engineer, how to take different things out, I learned it on the fly. I
Dang.
learned it on the fly. How to edit my podcast, what software to use. By the way, I use GarageBand. What mic I should have. Everything was on the fly, and just how to lower some of the volumes for my theme music and how to put it up and down, how to automatically do that. I learned it from YouTube. I had to like how to, you know what I'm saying? So I was like learning all of that on the fly, bro.
Did you go on YouTube University to check that out?
Nah, I actually
Yeah.
did it. I just put how to, and that's it. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
he's
And
like that, like on Google.
yeah, on
All
YouTube, yeah,
right.
how to blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. That's what's
Yeah,
up, man. See, that's where a lot of people stop. I mean, people have great ideas, as for podcasts, but once they get to, looking into how to do all this, there's many ways one can do a podcast. I mean, you can do that shit through your phone. You can do that shit straight through YouTube. You can do that, there's many ways to do it, bro. And it's like, I think just the number of options scare people off, depending
yeah,
on which one they stumble on first. If they
yeah,
stumble on this complicated ass way to do it, which some
yeah,
people do have it really complicated, they have it fucking, connected to their fucking mixer, from the mixer to the computer, and then to the mic, and then a big ass complicated thing. And if
yeah.
you don't know like how to do all that shit, it's complicated, bro. People quit
I
on
I'm
that.
actually I'm actually I'm research just to somebody right here said Flow DCM. Shout out to
Oh,
you.
it's gonna flow.
He
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
yeah, shout out to Flo. He said, do you stream live on YouTube? Yeah, I do. You can go to my YouTube channel, Radical Latino, and you can see some of my live content. I do it here and there sporadically, but I gotta start doing it more consistently. I'm researching on some of the mixers and stuff like that. I'm researching on some of the ones I should get because I'm thinking about doing it a little bit more professional. My podcast a little bit more
Mm.
professional, having some sound drops, there already
Oh, with
programmed and
that
all that.
mixer, with that special podcast mixer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm researching. I don't know which one to get, but I'm researching.
The
I'm
best one
looking
people
into it.
use is called a Roadcaster. That's just pricey as fuck. Though. That's fucking too pricey. I think for me,
Oh,
that's like
or
300, $600 or $700. Yeah,
oh nah.
Roadcaster, the Roadcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, listen. If it's gonna be a good investment, it's gonna be a good investment.
I mean, if
I'll
you're
say
really
what you want.
into it and you're gonna go the whole way and find different avenues to like profit from it and have that,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, have that pay off, you know, what you put in. I mean, of course that it does pay off, but like someone just doing it just for the fucking passion of it. I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, I don't know if that's. I mean, I don't know. Like everyone's different, you know what I mean, depending on your budget. But I mean, so now once you got that done, like for a what's it called, like a beginner, bro,
hmm
what do you think? Because I've come across a lot of people, and when I started like making, because I'm a hip hop artist as well, so when I started making music, I would ask people, how do you do this? How do you do that? And people don't want to fucking tell you, bro. It's like I
it's like a
understand Snoop
secret.
said it.
No, I get
Yeah,
it. I
like I
get it.
understand Snoop said it. You know what I mean? Like, what is it? What is how does it go? Like, basically you pay the word, what is it called? Like you have to pay for the word. Like you know what how does it
Yeah,
say
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Forgot.
Pay
Like
to play
basically,
or something like that. Yeah.
yeah. You have to basically like nothing's for free. Like knowledge ain't for free. But like some I mean, how do
Uh,
you feel about that, bro? How do you like you being a
nah,
creator?
I
How do you
don't.
feel about if someone came to you
I,
and asked you, yo, how do you do this? Like, you know, can you give me
I
some
don't.
pointers?
I'll let them know automatically. I'm not gonna do all of that. Listen, if you wanna create, listen, if you wanna start a podcast, if you wanna start a podcast, these are the things that you're gonna need to know. Hosting website. If you don't have your own website, hosting website. And these are some of the website: LinkedIn, Podbean, a podcast. I think it was a podcast studio. These are some of the websites that will host your things that you will put it out. And it's lower than like $10 a month. You know, if you're gonna be doing it every week, you gotta pay for you gotta pay. A good mic. Just get yourself a good mic. If you don't want to spend more than $100, get yourself something for 50 or lower. That's uh conioid or whatever I think was it. Is it called conioid or whatever the case is? It's small. Get yourself like a snowball
Oh,
or
okay.
a Roku or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you know what PC you have. If you have a Mac, GarageBand is already installed in your Mac. Go to How Tos or whatever the case is. Learn how to set up your GarageBand for your Mac. There's a couple of websites. Actually, I got a template that I could send to people. A regular template that I could send to people that people could download on their Mac. If you got a PC, uh, just search up on Google best PC or Windows app to record or whatever the case is, record, editing, all that, right? So those are the three things: website, mic, and application. Those are the three things. If you once you got that, you got to know the topic. You got to know your everything else will come later. You know what I mean? First of all, get those things done first. Once you get those things done first, that's when you'll get your little logo, your topics that you got to talk about, and make sure it's entertaining and engaging. You know?
Yeah. How long did it take you for all that other, side stuff, which is like your logo and stuff like that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how long? I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, a lot of people aren't, I mean, people may be creative in one thing and another thing they're like, damn, how am I going to go about this, So, like,
yeah.
how long did it take you for, like, the whole concept of your whole thing?
Oh, like I said, how I told you how everything came out a week and a half. I did all of that in a week and a half.
Damn, like, you knew
All of
how to
that.
do the graphic and all that shit?
Yeah, yeah. My first logo was very rudimentary. I just put certain things together, went through my iPad, edited, put my thing, my name on it, Radical Latino, and put it out. And that's later on. That's when I started, developing my logo a little bit more. I got help on that. Some people helped me out with the logo and stuff. But early on, I already had the image, the logo. It was
Mm,
already set. So I was like, let's ready to rock. You know what I mean?
damn.
So yeah, I did all of that in a week and a half because I already had the vision for it, and I already said, okay,
Oh,
we got to
okay.
do this. we gotta do that. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. I gotta do that. So, again, like I said, I did everything else but get the mic. Get the mic. I got the mic maybe until like weeks later, like I think episode 2021 of my podcast. That's when I got the mic, and it started to sound a little bit more professional at that point. You know what I mean? So anybody that wants to listen to my podcast, please listen to after past episode 21. So it won't sound so janky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just saying this, bro, in the perspective of, because really, what this podcast, I always meant it for it to be for the youngsters, for the one, not even the
Mm-hmm.
youngsters, bro, because I mean, there's even adults that are jumping into something that is a calling for them, but they don't know how to even get started. They feel it, they know it's a passion, they know that it's, it's been in the back of their heads or something, and they want to venture into it, but they don't know
Yeah.
what the first step is. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's as me as a hip hop artist, me starting to be like writing poetry first and then going into actually making songs and stuff. I didn't have no one to turn to, bro. Like my bigger brother, he never really was around because he's older. My sister, she's way older, and I
Yeah.
mean, like I've been around dudes that just all they want to do is just fuck around. And when I really wanted to like actually get serious and start recording and shit, there was no YouTube back then, bro. Like that was I'm talking about
Yeah.
2000 and fucking 1, 2002,
Yeah.
it was no fucking you. And then if there was, it was like the beginning stages. We didn't know what the fuck that was. So it's
True.
like, who was there to really talk to you if no one really was on that? No one really, even if they wanted to answer you, what the fuck are they gonna tell you? Like, where could have we turned to for answers? In the creative stages. So
Yeah.
this is kind of geared for something like this. And then not a lot of people want to talk about that shit. It's like, oh, you figure it out. You know what I mean? You figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, what kind of fucking douchebag shit is that, bro?
No,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I don't agree to that, man. Listen, if you guys want to figure out how about, I'm very accessible. You just hit me up, let me know. I'll give you the step by step if you guys want to do it. Also, do you listen, everybody, this phone that we're talking on right now, it's literally $1 million moneymaker. Okay, you
Mm,
can literally connect your thing and start talking, and then later on upgrade to a lot of things. If you have a great idea, great. I'm telling you, content right now, especially free content, is king. So if you get a
mm,
good following and you are engaging and you got something going for yourself, I'm telling you, content, they will pay you once you get a good following, and people are like, yo, we can market this person. Trust me, people will pay you.
no doubt, man. Now, as
Yeah.
for now that you have an audience, now that you know that people see your the value in what you gotta say, like you start to notice that positiveness. I mean, as for the people that want to know, they want to know, the people that do, kind of look forward to positive messages. For the most part, if you were to be talking about some crazy ass, nonsensical fucking shit, you'll be getting more fucking people following you, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's no doubt. You know what I mean? Like,
Listen.
what is it, bro? What do you think?
If I had Jose and Garcia having fighting it out every other week, yeah, people are going to tune in. If I'm talking
Yeah,
about BS type of celebrity gossip, yeah, people are going to be
yeah,
tuning in. Um, drama, beef, that sells. People are into that ratchetness. Yes, I understand that, but we also got to understand that there's also other things that's more important than just some beef ratchetness BS. That's what we have to understand. And the fact that certain people go to that don't bother me. We don't need those type of people anyway. That they could be over there. The people who really want to handle business, who really about what we're talking about, they stick over here, and this is what we need to talk about. You feel what I'm
mm,
saying? So that I understand is gonna happen. That listen, I fell victim to these little gossip moments. Like I get it, I do it too. You feel me? But at the end of the day, we got to understand what the bigger picture is, and the bigger picture is
Mm.
not just the bullshit, the love and hip hop bullshit. You feel me?
Yeah. Now, see, it took me a while, bro, to like, to really, you know, knowing that this world provides a bit to everyone, bro. Like, not just because we all want a better tomorrow, it doesn't mean that everyone's gonna subscribe to a good message all the
Yeah,
time. So it's just like you said before, bro. It's a hard pill to swallow, bro. Like it's a hard thing to take in, knowing that people want to see scandal, bro. People
yeah,
want to see some scandalous shit. People subscribe to someone getting beat down in the street. People subscribe to even God forbid, bro. A kid getting run over.
yeah.
People subscribe to that shit, bro.
Listen. When I on my YouTube channel, when I do some media coverages about certain people, those go get views. Those get views.
Hmm.
when when I talk about, hey, yo, there's a food drive actually happening, we could donate 300, 400 views. I'm like, what the hell? You feel what I'm saying? And when I talk about or expose a certain content creator for being either racist or whatever the case is, oh, them shits go up. Them shits go up. But when it comes to, hey, yo, these are some of the solutions our people should come up with. 200. I'm like, all right. It is what it is. All I'm saying is, if I could get my, like, you seen that movie 300? You seen that movie 300,
Nah,
right?
nah, nah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, I know about it, but I haven't seen it. Nah, yeah.
If you ever see the movie 300, it's just those 300 soldiers against the massive armies, and they're winning and all that. That's all I need. If I get a good core of 300 people, trust me, we are going to be unstoppable. Trust me, we will
Mm.
move mountains. I'm telling you, that's all I need. My good 300. You feel me?
Yeah. So that's the thing, bro. When it comes to starting some kind of movement, the same type of patterns happen. If you notice through history, so let's talk about the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
There's people that infiltrate, like that one. What is it? Like, what was he? A Japanese dude that he's the one that was providing the guns
The
for the Black
guns.
Panthers. Forgot his
Yeah.
name, but then it turns out that dude was working for the fucking for the FBI or something, for the CIA or some shit. So it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, why in the fucking world were they allowing this dude to provide guns and be the one to pretty much bring down the Black Panthers? With the Brown
You.
Berets, that was the same,
Yeah.
almost the same identical shit. There was, someone in there that was a spy. Like, what the fuck?
With the young lords, the same thing. Even it wasn't until years later that the whole COINTELPRO documents leaked out to the public, showing that the CIA and the FBI united to go up against these power groups, united to go up against these power movements, because during the 60s, these power groups and power movements were non-stop against white supremacy. They kept on showing them and exposing their vulnerabilities, so they had to do something. So they started to do what we call now is fake news, misinformation, right?
Hmm.
So that's what they started doing. They started to put fake information on newspapers that the Black Panthers were doing this, fake information about the Brown Berets were doing, fake information about the Young Lords, this is what they're doing, and so on and so forth. So this fake information not only happened in the media, but also happened with infiltration of these certain people, or certain people in the organization ended up flipping. They ended up
Hmm.
flipping and turning state. So this is the type of thing that happens. So it's when in any movement, regardless of what it is, in any movement, we have to understand that there are going to be certain people that are going to turn state. There are going to be certain people that will, sell us out, and we just have to be smart to maneuver away from it. Remember, this is the same government that goes into our countries
Mm-hmm.
and economic stifle the whole country. And this is the reason why them people have to go and track days and months on end just to come to this country for economic benefits. So we got to understand that everything is systematically put together. You know what I mean? You think the thing happening in Cuba is not USA backed? Come on now. You think that
Mm.
assassination with the Haitian president wasn't USA, infiltrated or issued? Come on. There's every this is something that I've always said, and people thought I was a little crazy about. Remember when Bush was talking about, we got to go to Al Qaeda in Afghanistan and all them
Mm-hmm.
other countries because they got weapons of mass destruction.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, uh, China got weapons of mass destruction. Russia got weapons of mass destruction. We don't go to them countries, but we go to other vulnerable countries that we know got no weapons of mass. By the way, it was shown that they didn't have no weapons of mass destruction whatsoever. But we don't. The United States, they don't fuck around with no other bullies that got weapons of mass destruction. You feel
Mm.
me? If Latin America, I bet you $100, if Latin America actually has some weapons of mass destruction, realistically, if they had it, best believe United States will not be messing with them. But since they do, it is what it is.
Yeah, man. See, I don't know if you've seen this documentary about the cartels in Mexico, where the people in the villages or in the towns, they got together to basically fight back against, the
Yeah, I
cartels.
seen that. I seen that.
And it turns out that after a while of like them fighting back and stuff like that, uh, a lot of them went into the cartels themselves. They started doing deals with the cartels and basically got corrupted, and the whole thing got fucked over. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
that happens a lot, bro. Like that happens where like it seems like everything gets tainted, bro. It seems like it's so easy just to fall for the okie doke. Just
yeah.
it's so easy to fall for our own fucking demise, bro. And
Yeah.
what do you think that is? Is that more of a spiritual thing that we just it's not seen, or is it just
Sometimes we
a
gotta.
human thing that we
Yeah,
have?
I think we have to understand something. Everybody's not cut out for this. You know, everybody is not cut out for the long road ahead
Oh,
for
okay.
empowerment and unity and stuff like that. There are going to be people that talk that good talk. There are going to be
Mm.
people that talk that good talk, but when situations happen,
Mm.
you will see who they are. You feel me? There's a lot of people who are pushed into the media, pushed out there into the media to be seen and showed, hey, this is your representative. But you got to see who's actually paying that representative. They talk that good talk. It's I would say it's human nature. There's been plenty of historical references and historical things that came out throughout history that people, because of money, got corrupted very easily. It happens. It happens. It's unfortunate that it happens, but it happens. It's there's certain power groups and power movements have always been infiltrated um, because of either money or they want to get out of prison time. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
it really depends. It really does depend. So I'm not gonna say it's just a one size fit all
Mm-hmm.
situation. It just happens. People always are in personal turmoil or struggle or whatever the case is, and our enemies like to exploit that. And
Mm-hmm.
the perfect way to exploit that is to fix a problem is with money, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
man. Yeah,
happens.
no doubt, man. Now let's kind of branch off a bit about motivation and what inspires you, bro. Like in general, like what motivates you in life, man? Because like we hardly go into detail with creators. We usually focus more on their creation, more on
Yeah,
than on self. But self
yeah.
has a lot to do with how we carry ourselves and how we conduct ourselves in society, right? So like, what motivates you, bro? Like to just keep moving forward in general.
What really motivates me is the fact that I do see certain people that hit me up, certain people that comment on some of my episodes that say, "Yo, I see what you see. I understand what you're talking about. Keep on moving forward. Keep on doing your thing." I've actually met one or two people who recognized me in the street, and we had like a
Oh,
good 30 minute, yeah, good 30-minute talk about how what I say and how I say it, actually resonates with them, and they see what I'm talking
mm.
about. So
So,
I do see those type of things, and that's what motivates me. The fact that I am seeing lives change, I am seeing that I am branching these two groups together and going in for unity. That's what I see. The fact that the the amount of Latin people that I have interviewed on my podcast, come with that same type of mindset and the same type of idea of unity. That's what motivates me. So when I talk about and move, how I move is how I talk. And I always and talking about a code of conduct, having a code of conduct, with that motivates me when I see other people practice it as well.
that's what's up, man. See,
Yeah,
that's what like me when I listen to podcasts, bro. Like some people don't like motivational like speeches and stuff like that, or just motivational talk in general
yeah,
because they're like, yeah, most of the time motivational talk is all like just nice things and this and that. But like it just so happens that even though you know what you got to do in your life, you know what steps you got to take. It's always good to just hear it, bro. That
yeah,
it just feels good to no matter if you know what to be expected in the long run for things, but it's always good to just hear it in another person's perspective and how another person had went through it. It's just for some reason it's just good to like hear that, bro. It uplifts you more and it makes you feel more like at ease that not just your road is difficult. People have difficult roads all the time. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's just a good thing to hear that, bro. Now as for me, bro, hip hop, I feel that saved my life. Like in many forms, because where I could have been outside doing some dumb shit, I was indoors recording, right? I was indoors writing. I was indoors creating. And what do you feel, saved your life, bro? Like instead of doing dumb shit, what were you doing instead of?
Man, again, this knowledge of self came later in my life. I would say I'm not trying to get into too personals, but I was a wild kid. You know what I mean? I was doing my little things out there. Um, what really stopped me was basically my cousin. I want to give a huge shout out to my cousin Hector. He's the one that kind of was like steering me in the different direction. And what motivated me more when I went to high school and I started to hook up with certain people who weren't into that rah rah type of uh,
Mm.
type of mentality. So that's what kept me out of it. Positivity all around. When I started to actually get into knowledge of self and everything, and I started to actually understand a little bit more. I did run into some rough patches. I was like a couple of minutes away from calling somebody up to give me a pack. You know what I mean? But I was like, nah,
Yeah.
let me chill. But that's the knowledge of our people and the knowledge and getting certain people close to me, who comes with that positivity and that
Mm.
motivation, really helped me out because if it wasn't for them people, if it wasn't for my mentors, if it wasn't for my friends in high school, if it wasn't for my cousin, I think I wouldn't even be, I don't think I'll be here. I'll be doing some knucklehead shit. You feel me? So that's what I'll say is the people that I had around me that actually helped me out.
Okay. No, man, like this lifestyle, bro, this lifestyle that we sometimes choose to live, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just it takes us to unexpected places,
yeah,
and you know
yep,
what I mean? So it's like influences, bro. Influence has it's a big deal, bro. Like even though at the time that you're hanging out with certain people, you may see them as like, nah, they're my boys, they're my homies, like who the fuck you talking about? They're bad influence. Nah, they're cool.
yeah,
But these youngsters, bro, these youngsters nowadays is a new fucking generation. I mean, I guess youngsters have always been misunderstood, right? So it's
yeah,
like in comparison to the older crowd, we've always, kind of collided in ideas, and we never. I mean, this for the most part, we've always been separate. You know what I mean? And we've always the new generation is always like the knuckleheads. It's always like the hey, now you don't understand. You're less.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
You're less fucking
yeah,
that you don't come with the same respect as they did prior, but it's about the same shit, bro. It really is. It's just a different lingo here and there, and it's just about the same shit. You outgrow certain dumb
yeah,
things, but it's like, what would you suggest to those walking in the wrong footsteps because of influence or because of certain beliefs based on social
yeah.
media, based on music, based on whatever, what would you suggest to them, bro?
What I suggest is, you think this is the way out. You think crime pays, doing what you got to do. Look at your big homies. The fact that they're still there around you
Mm.
and they didn't get out says a lot. There's other avenues. There's other ways to get out the hood. There's other ways to actually, you know, have a better lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's not winning the lottery whatsoever. So my best advice is see what you're talented in, see what you're good at, keep on practicing that talent, keep on practicing what you're good at, and create a job out of it. Create your own career out of it. There's plenty of people in the hood who are wonderful artists, who are wonderful filmmakers, who are wonderful recording artists, who are extraordinary people, and their talents are wasted because of some other influences around. And I'm telling you that doesn't need to be the case. You could take that talent, exploit it, and sell it off. People will definitely buy, the people definitely will buy content. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So try all I gotta say is see what you're good at, no matter what it is, and hustle at it, and you could definitely make a career out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm. That's what's up, man. Now, me
Yeah,
myself, man, I find it hard because I put myself a lot of tasks in front of me. I like to
yeah,
be busy all the time and shit, like,
yeah,
cause I have a busy fucking mind, bro. Like, I'm always thinking. I have the type of mind that I'm always thinking, and my mind just running 100 miles per hour and shit. And it's like it's crazy.
yeah.
So I'm always into something, right? So I find it hard sometimes to keep a balance. What is your balance, bro? I mean, what does your balance look like?
Oh shit, bro. My balance. I'm still trying to find my balance. To be 100%, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm still trying to find my balance. I'm all over the place. But
Mm.
when I wasn't, all over the place, and I was actually, focused. My balance was the gym. That's basically what it was. I
Mm.
just go in there and escape. I find the gym to be extremely therapeutic. It definitely, it's not for the weak of mind. I could go in there stressed out, come back relaxed, and that's what my balance is. My balance is actually physically doing something, physically having something and a goal to do. You know what I mean? And right now, like I said, I'm trying to find my way back into it, but my before this, my balance was the gym.
That's what's up, man. See, that's
Yeah,
that's that's what's up, man. See, that's what I'm looking for in inspiration. I
yeah,
mean, me personally, bro, like that's what inspires me, bro. To hear words like that, man. To hear things
yeah,
that one can take into their own routine. One can take into their own, you know what I mean, to their own, you know, everyday tasks to basically feel better, bro. Because really, we're living in a fucking fast-paced society where everything is quick. Our
Yeah,
fucking attention span is no longer than fucking like 5-10 seconds. It's like it's
yeah,
fucking nuts, bro. Like, and kids are gonna grow up to like even want to even faster, bro. So you know what I mean? That's crazy. It's
yeah,
crazy. So it's like we all need some kind of balance in life, bro.
yeah.
Because
No,
that's what.
you're right. Some of these people who go, you know, you've seen those racist white women who go viral. They go viral for one
Mm.
week and people forget all about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
Like if I
crazy.
if I if I if I say barbecue Becky right now, you would think like, yo,
Oh shit.
that's like 10 years ago. But
Yeah,
in
that
reality,
was
that
like
was
a
like
month
last
ago.
year. Yeah. So
It's crazy.
that's how fast information comes and how fast we forget it. You know what I'm saying? So
It's
like
crazy.
especially when it comes to music, music nowadays, again, these rappers just put out, you know, single after single after single after single after
Mm.
single. They don't put out full albums until they do put out a whole album, and you're like, wait a minute, I just heard this whole album already. You know what I'm
It's all
saying?
the same
So
tracks put into
yeah,
an album, basically.
yeah, that's all it is. So you're like, whoa, wait a minute. So and then for example, Lloyd Banks came out with I'm not into this new hip hop. I'm telling you right now, I'm not into this drill stuff. I'm not into it.
Hmm.
But I'm into lyrics. So Lloyd Banks came out with an album, right? His newest album. I downloaded it. I was like, "Ooh, this is hard." And as fast as people were giving it praise, they moved on to the next thing, and people forgot all about it. I remember because I put it on my personal Instagram. I was like, "Yo, Lloyd Banks' album is hard." Tell me how somebody hits me up and they're like, "Yo, that's mad old." I'm like, this came out like 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This came out 2 weeks ago. That's
What?
not old. So I think the internet um has messed with the time span that we actually, you know, relate to things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I miss the days that one can go to a fucking record store, bro. I miss that fucking hard, man. Like remember
Yo,
some Sam Goodies, bro?
I didn't have we didn't have a
Never been to
Sam
Sam
Goodies,
Goodies?
but
All right.
we had a Verizon, no, Virgin Towers. That's what we had. There was
Oh,
two.
okay, yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
There was two. There was one on Times Square, and there was another one on Union Square in Manhattan. And what was cool about it was that you get to sample and hear the music first.
Yeah,
So
they
there was
had yeah,
like
headphones on the
sex,
walls and shit.
there were like sections and stuff, and you would put them on, and
Yeah.
that console would have like 4 or 5 CDs into it. And you just pick which one you want to listen to, and you would stay there for a good hour just
Yeah.
listening to it and stuff. So yeah, I remember like record stores, like, you know, picking up the magazines, going through it and
Yeah.
all that. Yeah, I remember that.
It's crazy, man. See, that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, man. See, old times like doing that type of shit. You know, that's this new
yeah,
generation will never fucking experience that shit, bro. And
yeah,
this whole internet thing, like people can download something that just came out today and listen to that shit and be over with in the same fucking day, bro. Like an album for me was like a whole fucking experience, bro. It was like a whole month long of an experience for me,
let
bro.
me check this out. Check this out. An album for me was 18 to 20 something songs.
Hmm.
Why are albums now 6 to 10 songs now?
Yeah, yeah. It's all
You know what I'm saying?
EPs and shit. Yeah.
And now, not only that, but then not a song is a good 3 minutes or longer.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Why are these songs 2 minutes and 30, a minute? What? What is going on? These are TikTok songs. Get out of here. I don't
Yeah, that's
want
what I'm
that.
about to say. That's like the TikTok version of that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear that. Like, get out of here with that. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
But I know times is moving and stuff like that. Things is evolving, and I think we're starting to sound like the old heads. You
You know
feel
what,
me?
bro? That's what I was just talking about. See, that's what I was just
Yeah,
talking about. Like, we will never fucking see things eye to eye. You know, the older
yeah,
crowd with the younger crowd, it would always be some kind of fucking clash, bro, because it's just two different worlds. It's just, time is gonna fucking, it's gonna go move forward, bro. It's not gonna stay the same style, the same fucking sound, the same nothing, bro. Things move forward, and
Yeah.
we gotta we gotta evolve with it. Even though, when you get older, it's just you stay with like same type of some of the same mentality, some of the same habits, some of the same styles and stuff. And that's what they say, like, some things are hard to break, bro. Like, some of these things are hard to fucking like forget and things like that, because we grew up with it. That was what we knew, bro. Like, we grew up with some fucking some dope East Coast music, some dope fucking West Coast G
Yeah.
Funk shit,
Yeah.
bro. How can we let go of that? Like, that's like saying
Yeah.
that the people growing up with the Beatles, they became older heads, and now they're gonna dislike the Beatles. Fuck
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
bro. They're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
embrace the
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
out of that. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. 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 No, I feel you, bro. I feel you.
Yes, I'm saying, bro. But bro, like, we gotta do a fucking part two of this shit, man, because I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like there's more that we gotta go into it with, not only with your platform, but with you as a person, bro. Like, just
Hmm.
for the beginning of it, we kind of like went through religion just a bit when you mentioned the whole thing about your family and all that. But man, we gotta go more in depth of that, because
Oh yeah.
in the Latin experience, bro, in the Latino experience, man, religion plays a huge part into who we are as people and how we become, and the rebellious part of us Latinos.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with it, bro. And like I said, bro, like, there's a lot of things that people choose not to go into depth because of the same reason, that it's not only taboo, but it's
Yeah.
just different perspectives, different views, and
Yeah.
you might step on someone's foot by saying certain something. But if it's out there, it's out there. If it's known, it's known. Why
That's
not
true.
converse about it? You know what I mean? But
That's true.
yeah, bro. Why don't you shout out, the podcast? Shout out, where they can find you, where they can DM you for any questions.
Yeah. So thank you very much to Brown96, right? Shout out
Yep.
to you, bro. Thank you for having me on your platform. If you guys want to reach me out, radical underscore Latino underscore. That's my Instagram. You want to reach out and see my podcast, Radical Latino. You could check me out on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon,
Mm.
Google, iHeartRadio. I'm all over. I'm all over the
That's what's up.
podcast. What I mean? Your favorite podcast app, I'm probably there. You feel me? If you want to DM me, I'm super reachable. So trust me, you're never not gonna hear about me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely gonna reach back. But I want to give a huge shout out to all the people that were watching, and a huge shout out to the people that contributed. For some of my people that came in, remember, go follow him, the Hip Hop Podcast. Trust me, this brother's dope. And thank you very much for having me on, man.
That's what's up, man. And sometime in the near future, I'm gonna be on my homeboy's podcast.
Hell
So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
so
We definitely
we're
we
gonna be
got we got
talking
to
about
talk
that.
about
So
it. We got to talk
that's what I'm
about it.
saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
we gotta
yeah,
talk about that. But sometime in the near future, check that out. I'll
yeah.
be dropping some gems on that shit. But yeah, man. Thank you for coming in and talking this good talk, man, and inspiring someone out there, that needs that inspiration. You know what I mean? Like, we there for that inspiration, trying to bring that to life. But yeah, man. Thank you for coming in. And this is Brown96 with another dope episode of the Hip Hop Spot podcast. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.